by our SBDC network, funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration and the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. This show is the go-to resource for business owners seeking empowerment, education, and resources to succeed. Join us as we connect you with experts, share the triumphs of fellow entrepreneurs, and reveal the wealth of assistance available to you today to level up your business. So let's go. Let's dive in and learn more. And boy, let's put a heavy emphasis on that last part. Wealth of assistance available to help you and your small business grow. Put a big circle around that part of our introduction, because that's what we're going to dive into. A world that few of us understand. And I dare say the people on the other side are frustrated that we don't understand it. Why don't we know the opportunities that are out here? Particularly dealing with the state of California. They want small businesses, desperate. Got money to give you. People with contracts looking for you, and for veterans, and for other people that they've specifically said, we're going to target and help you. We're going to show you the process of how to do this. And we go, no, I don't get it. I don't know it. I don't understand it. I don't believe it. I don't think it's for me. So to disprove all of that, we've got the expert in here. We've got the wizard. When you pull back the curtain, there is a Wizard of Oz pulling all the levers and doing all this. We got the wizard here today. We have Diane Lydon. Did I say that name correctly?
You did, Paul.
And Diane, are you the wizard that makes all this work? Are you the business outreach manager?
I wish I was the wizard that could grant every small business in the state of California.
You just wave a wand and
contract.
You grant these things.
Yes.
Poof.
If I had that, I would be, I don't know, I'd be looked at throughout all small businesses.
Well,
but
we have the
I'm modestly an advocate and a provider of services. So obviously, in our role and what we do in the state in the Office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise is we look to support small businesses and to help build a California, a diverse,
right,
and diverse small business, disabled veteran business, kind of pool of suppliers, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so we help them look for opportunities through our outreach, through our certification program, through our advocacy. Essentially, so we're helping small businesses understand, is this right for me? Right? Is my business right at the right moment? Is this great for me? So how do I understand state contracting and selling to the state?
So let me tell you the first part that I never understand, that you lost me at hello, is when you tell me the name of all those organizations. And my head swirls, and I go,
it's a
what
big
the
name.
heck is that? How am I going to remember this? So let's see if we can break it down and talk about there's the giant state of California. And within this giant entity, there is a department. The state of California has a Department of General Services. That's just a catch-all. You do lots of things in the Department of General Services. And one of them is this Office of Small Business and Disabled Veterans Business Enterprise Services. Wow. Yeah. Could you put any more words in there? I don't understand.
I don't know.
So it all comes down to an acronym. And the acronym
we all deal with acronyms. You're right.
And so it's either the OSDS, the Office of... What is that? What's the SDS stand for again here?
So Office of Small Business, that would be the OS.
Right.
Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, that would be the D.
Right.
And the S would be Services.
Services. Or sometimes I might hear it as the DVBE. What's that one? The Disabled Veterans Business
again,
Enterprise.
Acronyms. So the OSDS is the unit, and then the DVBE, because it's very hard to say.
Right.
That is Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise.
So the first thing you have to learn to deal business with the state of California is how to...
It's our acronyms.
Is your acronyms. You got to learn to speak the language.
I hope not. I hope after this short podcast,
we're going to blow all that misunderstanding.
Will put away all of that and understand that they can go to a marketplace that's called Cali Procure, and that's kind of all they need to know, and forget about all the acronyms.
All right, so give me that website. Spell it out again here.
Sure. It's Cali Procure.
Spell it.
CALEPROCURE.DGS.ca.gov. However, I've got a pro tip. I got a pro
Okay.
tip.
I was so excited until you threw all that in at the end there.
I know. So if you can't remember dgs.ca.gov, just simply put caliprocure.com and it'll automatically take you to the dgs.ca.gov. I actually, it's a funny story. I made a mistake. It's one of the first panels I was on because we do panel demonstrations,
Sure.
we do exhibiting, we do workshops, we do one-on-one consulting.
You guys will stand up at a corner outside on the main street and just say, come over here with a table. I mean, you tell us anywhere you're always preaching and teaching, trying to say this is simpler than it sounds and we need you. We're looking for you.
So I'm on this panel and we're talking about, I'm with other government and state entities and local entities, and I give out the email address, caliprocure.com. I get off the stage and I'm with my colleague of some odd 20 years he's been at this. And he's like, Diane, he says, like, it was really good what you did. Your first panel, excellent. But you gave him the wrong URL. I'm like, oh no, panicked. And so I put in, just because I wanted to see, I put in caliprocure.com and it worked. It redirected them.
So why are we worried about all these other things? Cali Procure and now I would think Cali like California. I do CALI, but you're doing E like
electronic procurement.
Yeah. Okay. So Cal E, the letter E, procurement. Cal E procurement.
Procure.
CalEProcure.com. All right, that's pretty simple. We'll keep
That'll
harping
take them
there.
That'll take them there.
Forget about all the other acronyms. Forget all this stuff. That's there. Now, when I get in, the wizard has opened the door and let me in. When I pull back the curtain, am I welcome? I'm a little guy. I hear this over and over again. I'm too little for this. I don't know how to do this. I'm going to get lost in the bureaucracy. I'm going to get lost in the process. And in the end, I'm going to lose out to somebody big that knows how to do this, big corporations, big enterprises and everything. They don't really want, do you really want me, little guys?
Yeah. I think it's a good time, actually. And I'll get to that in just a sec. But I think when you're thinking about government contracting, like, you're going to ask yourself, why? What would it benefit my business? Small, large, anything really, but more for a small business, right? I think they need to understand that it's a matter of diversing your revenues.
There you go. I'm not just relying on that one source of revenue. When that runs into trouble, like it did during COVID or other crazy things.
You got one well on your property and it dries up.
Yes.
Then what do you do?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to be able to diversify your revenue. So that's why you would even begin to think about it. But when I mention it's a good time, is because in the last year or two, the state has come up with legislation which actually mandates a larger, more robust small business.
And let's talk about that, because we had somebody from the SBDC, more acronyms, Small Business Development Center, the people fund the show and help put this whole thing out there. And I'm with the Orange County Inland Empire SBDC, which is part of a national group, which is funded by the SBA in the state of California. We can go down all these rabbit holes here, but they have a contracting center out in Riverside, and we had them on a few weeks ago. And I thought, why are we even talking? This isn't for small businesses. This is giant businesses contract with the state of California or the city of Riverside or any of these government enterprises here. No, there is a mandate in place. Talk about that. Isn't it like 25%? You got to give, you're mandated to go find somebody who we can give this money to.
Yeah, 25 cents of every dollar. So, you got $1,000 contract, 250 of it has to go to a small business.
Yeah.
So really, it's a matter that it was really a very significant win, I would say. It's AB 2019, if anybody's worried about looking it up. But it was a real significant win, particularly not only for small businesses in general, but particularly for minority-owned businesses.
Yeah. Let's talk about that a little,
it kind of vastly
2 or 3 categories that the state and most government entities and the society as general said, we got to do more to help certain, we'll call them minority, but it's any targeted group. It could be women, could be veterans. It's some subcategory that could be, African American, could be a racial, could be a sex, it could be whatever the categories. We thought there's not enough of these people. We want to diversify. We don't want just the same giant guys doing this thing over again. We got to get more women. We got to get more minorities. We certainly want to help our vets. Everybody endlessly trying to do that. How can we target some of these groups? So the first thing you got to do is you got to prove you fit in that group. That means you got to get certified somehow. I can't just call up and say, yeah, I fit that category. No, the government.
And also, Paul, I would add to that, not only when you're talking about the different groups, but really kind of going after those communities where these businesses are.
Yes, right.
So it's not just a matter of identifying those demographic groups, if you will, but we can kind of reach out into those underserved communities. Bingo. And begin to tell these groups. We do a lot of work. We've just expanded in the Central Valley. We have bilingual liaisons that will go out and speak in Spanish to groups. So we really are putting an effort into our outreach.
And that's a good point, because you're up in West Sacramento. I dare say I've been to Sacramento. I'm sure I looked behind every door there, but there's a lot of government contractors, a lot of government consultants, a lot of government services. And they're in all these buildings here, but that's not where I am. And if I'm a Hispanic business owner, I might be in the Central Valley, I might be in Orange County here, I might be in Santa Ana or Anaheim or some other place here. I don't know anybody that's done this. I don't see an office anywhere around to walk into this. I don't even know where to get started. So again, we got caleprocure.com.
That's where you're going to find everything. That's your start, right? Okay. That's your first steps. You can register your business, you can find opportunities, you can look for past purchases. Why is that important to me? So I think a lot of the small businesses get hung up on government contracting. If they think about it as like, what do they do in their own businesses to get business from the private sector?
Right.
What do they do? The same thing applies. We just do it a little different. So maybe we have a language that we speak. Yes. That people need to understand.
I think that's definitely it. And a bunch of acronyms you got to sift through to get there. But once
so let me give you want another acumen?
Please.
Okay. UNSPSC codes.
I was just using that the other day. My friends and I were talking about USNPC codes. It's something we talk about all the time here. I have no idea what you're talking about here. That's one of the languages that small businesses need to be aware of when they go on to Cali Procure, because that's a lot of how buyers look for people. So what is
look for small
Explain
businesses.
that.
So it's United Nations Standard Product and Services Codes, UNSPSCs.
So I got to find my UNSP code.
UNSPSC.
I got to know what I'm offering in their terms. What am I coded as?
Right.
I'm a cleaning service. I'm a software engineer. I'm a caterer. I'm anything that they might want. And they say, but this is the government. Do you want caterers? Do you want graphic designers? Do you want janitorial services? I mean, do they ever hire these people? Yeah.
The state buys everything.
They buys everything.
They buy everything. And so with this new legislation, right? This also gives the buyer the opportunity, when they create those solicitations for those contracts, to build in some of the advantages for small businesses.
Yeah.
Right? So
the state of California said, quit hiring all these big companies that do graphic service and janitorial service, these giant things. They know how to speak the language. They know how to get their code. They know how to get in the door. They've got connections and consultants, and they've been doing it forever. Great. Let's diversify. We want to spread the wealth. We want to bring in some of these other people, and they don't live here. They don't know how to speak this language. They don't know how to wind their way through the maze. Let's hire people like Diane Lydon and put her a little.
Well, our services are free, Paul. Oh, that's the better part of this.
Come on,
right?
This is too good to be true here.
Yeah. Talking about UNSPSC codes. And trying to, because it is one of the things that is very, very important. That and the other language piece is keywords. But when you have a small business,
because when you search through this maze of things you're looking for, you use keywords to find those jobs. You can't just endlessly scroll through lists of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So one woman, she's a small business owner, She registered her business, which you have to do first. You register, which is open your profile on Cali Procure. Then she's certified.
And how do you
And
get,
I always
how do
say,
you
well,
get,
that's when the fun starts,
how do you
after
get
you're certified.
How do I prove that I fit one of these
Yeah,
targeted
those
categories?
eligibility requirements. When I'm out talking with people, I kind of just say, hey, look, let me ask you a few quick questions. So I said, are your gross annual receipts averaged over the last 3 years, or whatever receipts you have? Maybe you just started a year ago.
Right.
Are they more than 16 million? Well, they certainly just laugh at me at that point. And they're like,
I'm close to that number. I'm right around 16 million, but no.
And then I say, well, do you have more than 100 employees? No, I'm myself. I'm just a sole. I got one other person with me, right? And then I'm like, okay, do you live in California, and is your office here? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, perfect, okay. And then, do you own the market? Like, are you the only one? Is there any competitor of yours? Like, oh yeah, I got all these other businesses I compete with. I said, well, there you go. Those are simply the basic eligibility requirements.
And then do I have to disclose documents or numbers, or I got to go to my accountant and
oh gosh, you want to get into those findings? So that's just let them get in there, let them register. Those are the eligibility. And then once they get into the application, yes, we have resources where they can look at the documents they need. They can read about what there's required. If they have a question, they can come to us, we'll answer it. But there is some guide and resources to be able to pull together all the materials and documents and things that you need to be able to submit that application.
And that's where there are other groups under yours, like the SBD's Contracting Center, for free. You come in and they'll help you put all that together and sift through it. You need this, you need this. You don't have that, well, here's what we can do and everything else. And they'll help you put that together to get certified. Now, once I'm in the system, I'm done, right? I'm a certified
No,
person.
as I said, that's when the fun begins. So getting back to this woman who'd she'd registered, she'd certified, she had her profile, she had her UNSPSCs in there. And one of the beauties of this system is if you put those in, it will generate emails with solicitations.
Oh,
so
please.
You can get them automatically. But she wasn't getting anything that looked good for her business. She's like, I'm getting all these random emails. I'm getting the emails. That's great, but they're not what I need.
Right. Not
so then we took a look at her profile. We tweaked it a bit. We added some
better keywords.
Better keywords. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks, she's getting what she needs. And within a matter of a few months, she got her first contract.
So listen, folks, just play with this for a second. The government has a mandate, an order that they got to spread the wealth and pass out all this stuff they're buying. I'm assuming the state of California buys a lot of stuff. My impression is it's big. They got a lot of money, and they want to spread it out more evenly to little guys, little small enterprises, and particularly small businesses and disabled veterans. Those are two targets that they've really put on, and as well as their minority might be women-owned or African American or Hispanic or whatever, something. Some targets they got in place here, and they got to go find these people because we can't just accept the same vendors we've had before. We want to diversify, and and it is more than a desire. They're making us diversify. They've put an order in place. We got to do this now. You got to go to this site, procure.com. And start to get in the conversation and start to speak the language and understand what they want. And there are places like the SBDC Contracting Center, Riverside, that can help you for free to get certified, to get through the maze, to understand the acronyms and all these things. Once you're certified and you're in there and you got your profile dialed in, the jobs come to you. Hey, how about this one? We're looking for you. You want to do one in Riverside? You want to do one in San Diego? You want to do one in Sacramento? You want to do one here in your local neighborhood here? We think you might be able to apply for it. Is there any other? I've had a small business most of my life. Businesses don't come to me and say, I need you.
But you're not going to survive on that alone.
No, I've always have to go out and constantly advertise. Hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Just like going after the private sector, you need to know your research. Who buys my product? Obviously, the state is huge. We have, I don't know how many hundreds of departments, right? So in any business, you're going to do your research. You're going to find out who buys my product. We have a database that goes back to 2015. Using your codes, using those codes. See, this is where it becomes critical to know what those are.
Right.
You can find departments who have purchased what you sell. How much did they buy it for?
And I'll bet you'd be shocked. Some department that you never heard of, not far from you maybe, is looking for janitorial services and has bought a ton of it. Or
it's
has bought
interesting,
a graphic designer, or has bought somebody who can help write handbooks, or I'm trying to come up with the most off-the-wall things, and they bought it. Party planners, caterers, or something.
Yeah.
And
I think one of the most enjoyable experiences in working with small businesses, I think, is getting with them about those codes and keywords and exploring the codes. Because sometimes I'm like, hey, let's try this one. And all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, that's me. That's what I do.
So I produce podcasts, and I would think, no, nobody's producing, but maybe there's all these departments looking to produce. I have my own independent business, and I produce podcasts and stream them, stuff like this one. Maybe they're looking for it. But do I put podcasts? I put audio, visual, audio production. Or do I put
graphic design,
content creator? There's all these other ways I can describe what I do, and maybe I put one in. It's the lock. It's the key that unlocks the door. And all of a sudden a flood, and I don't just walk into a room and see opportunities all over the place. They walk in and say, hello, you're here. Hey, Paul, why don't you apply for this one? Hey, Paul, why don't you apply for this? We already see you're registered. We already see you're certified. Your keyword fits our keyword. Man, I can't imagine a world where opportunities come to me. I'm always having to beat the bush with that big stick and try and scare one out.
Here's another area that small businesses don't think about.
Okay.
And a couple years back, we created a registry only for small certified businesses for emergencies.
Emergencies.
So, and emergencies aren't just, emergencies declared by the governor, and these huge things we're discovering are more frequent in our lives.
Right.
But just at home, what happens when your plumbing gets clogged? Or your HVAC system gets home? Who do you call? You call somebody. It's kind of an emergency. You need the heat. You need your water to be working.
Yeah.
That happens across government buildings and things like that. So it's kind of, it's considered an emergency.
Right.
And so we have a whole registry.
And it could be the computer goes down, or it could be the lights go off, or it could be,
we've got a system that, for the computer, we have our own system.
But I mean, it's something that happened, and I go, oops, we got to get somebody now.
We got to get somebody now. And so buyers go to the small business emergency registry and look for companies. But, the caveat here, obviously, is you got to be prepared. You got to be, answer the phone.
Do it. Yeah, right.
24 hours. You got to be, there and ready.
Can't get back to them a month later. Yeah.
No, that one's not going to work. So that's another opportunity that small businesses don't often think about for themselves.
And is it hard to do business with the state? Does it take 10 months to get paid? Do they have to have 400 certifications? Do I have to have 400, or not employees, but is there stuff I have to have or understand that's different than my normal clientele? Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably.
So that's an important question. I mean, I think when it comes to contract readiness, and when they're beginning to think about selling to the state, they need to think about, is my business ready? Not only do I have the products people buy, and now I know who buys them.
Right.
Right. And now we even have another person in that interim period, which we call advocates. That's who you market to, right? So let's just say they've done all that. They've done their research. They need to be able to be what we call contract ready.
Yeah.
So financial capability,
Can
right?
you pull it up? Hey, we got a big deal here and we need somebody. I can't handle that. It's too big for me.
It's too big for me, right? Yeah. So there's a couple other things. So they look at their past performance. They look at their production capacity, their expertise, and their financial. That is a big one because the state doesn't pay until after the project is done.
See, and that's, I know this from hearing these stories. So I got the gig. I can handle it. I'm your guy, Johnny on the spot. I'll be there immediately. I can handle anything. And then I hand up my hand, and I want you to hand me a credit card or some cash, and you go, oh, no, there's a process and a procurement and a submit an invoice, and 90 days from now, maybe, or 60 days.
45 days is a legislative
Okay.
prompt
Well,
payment.
better than I thought. And but 45 days.
days.
But I already paid my crew. I already paid my guys. I already
Yeah.
bought the equipment. I already installed it. I put my time in. I know. Be patient. You're going to get paid, but not today.
Yeah.
So you got to be able.
And that's where they need to go to these other resources, right? So they can get access to capital.
You get a little loan to cover the little bridge loan or whatever they call these things. See, again, it's a different way of thinking. The beauty of it, now people are turning off, oh, too much, too hard, too difficult, too Don't, because they got money, lots of it. They got by law to give it to you, the small businesses, the minority businesses, the vet businesses, all these things, veteran businesses. And that's why Diane Lydon, the Wizard of Sacramento, is here today. She can make all this. She can wave the wand. She can show you how to do this. She can guide you. Or maybe you're the Sherpa. You can climb Mount Everest, and it seems insurmountable. People do it every day, though. They just need a little help. And I'm going to show you the way. It's not so hard. And when you get there, it's pretty impressive when you get to the top of the mountain. Not many people standing up at the top of the mountain except you. And a lot of resources, a lot of things. You want another way to feed your business continually where work comes to you? Money is endlessly there. Your clients aren't running out of cash or cutting back and doing less of this. Go talk to the government. They got a lot of need for you, but they can't find you, and you can't find them, and that's why we need a Wizard of Oz to bring all this together here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Business Outreach Manager, Diane Lydon. Thank you so much for joining us here today. You made what seems impossible sound possible.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. And we hope that people come. They can attend any of our workshops.
Any coming up here and we're doing
well,
this?
They can go to caliprocure.com. We have a resource page. You can go to our events so you can see which is coming up. And I would, if I could so randomly give a plug, if I may, we have a LinkedIn page.
Oh, you're getting even cooler here. So there's a LinkedIn
And not
page.
only do we have a Watch List Wednesday, which is all of our events, but we have an Essential Tuesday.
Essential Tuesdays I need more than a Watch Wednesday. I need an Essential Tuesday. Maybe you'll get a motivational Monday or something here. You know.
Yeah, there you go. Your tips, your essentials, how do we guide you? Lots of information go in on Tuesdays. So any small business that's looking to kind of sell to the state should look at our LinkedIn on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Absolutely. But the link, how do I find the link on LinkedIn? Is it one of these acronyms here, or is it something simple?
It is OSDS, Business Outreach.
That one, OSDS.
Yeah.
Okay, OSDS, and that stands for what again? Office of something.
Small Business. You know, I better just, Office of Small Business Disabled Veteran Business Services.
Okay. So OSDS is a fancy, simple way, and I might type that into LinkedIn. We try that while you're talking to me here. Let's see if that works.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now because I go on there all the time. But do I look at the details?
No.
Yes, Office of Small Business and DVBE Services.
But if I type in 4 letters, I get there OSDS.
You might.
Okay. Otherwise,
if you
follow the
certainly Office of Small Business here, and DVB is
Office of Small Business, Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services. All that, don't worry about it. DVBE, or another way, OSDS is like the big parent group, and then within this is this DVBE unit that you're part of here. And we'll have all this in there. So just cut and paste, copy it into LinkedIn. Don't let your eyes roll over. Don't worry about all this stuff. We're going to make it simple to find it. The point is, there is a place looking for you right now with money ready to hand you.
And there's help, free help.
There's help, free help to find it and get through it and get through the maze.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Paul. Hopefully we'll come back and talk in a little dive deeper into some of this stuff. I would love to have
come back and tell some stories. I want some mind-boggling. You got me interested. You got me believing it's for me, and I can do this. Then I want to come back and say, all right, tell me some real stories. So I can go, that's me. Oh my goodness. If they can do it, I can do it. I want to hear some real stories of real people and the real success they've had doing this. If I can
They're
hear
out
that,
there.
now I don't just think it's possible. I think it's probable. I think, yeah, I really could do this thing here. But you got me thinking. You told me it's there.
Okay.
You made it sound simple. You're going to hold my hand and walk me through it. You give me lots of ways in and some help understanding this strange world that I've never seen and been in before. And you're going to help guide me through it. And at the end of the day, there's a pile of gold. There's a pot of gold waiting at the end of the rainbow here if you just will follow the process and follow the thing. CalEProcure.com. Start there, and you'll start your journey. And then come back and listen some more as we get Diane Lydon to join us and share some of the other secrets as she unfurls
Nuances,
the mystery.
the pro tips
of this world that we all heard about, we all dream about, but we somehow think, not for me. It is for you. Start there and find out what's available for you. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us here today.
Thank you very much.
And stick around. I got a question for you afterwards, so don't hang up when we do this.
All right.
Hang on.
Thanks, everybody.
Folks,
Thanks for listening.
As we conclude another episode of the Profit Talks podcast, we hope we've empowered your entrepreneurial spirit. Reach out to us to connect with our experts, and let's take your business to the next level. Keep those dreams alive, keep pushing forward, and stay tuned for more. And if you liked what you heard in today's podcast and you want your business to reach new heights, just contact us at profittalkspodcast.org or call us at 1-800-616-7232. That's 1-800-616-7232. So until next time, keep thriving.